Welcome back to Class and Grass Podcast, Season 2, Episode 35.
It took less time today. The intro did take less time. It's getting significantly better as we go.
Yep.
I feel like the introduction of a producer has increased our pre-podcast time, like the warm-ups to the pod, by like 45 minutes. But like now I think we're in a good stage. We're definitely improving a lot. Yeah, I think getting right into it. It was a pretty big week for football.
Pretty big day.
Yeah, I think maybe. Do you think it's the biggest day of the year, or do you think the Euro final will be?
I think of the year so far,
Well,
definitely,
yeah,
because
obviously.
there's two finals, which we'll get into today. And
True, that is a good point.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it will be. The Euro finals is one final. Yeah, some would say maybe a bigger trophy. Well, I don't think it's a bigger trophy than the Champions League.
It's hard because it's a different vibe.
Mm-hmm.
It's national team. By the way, I know I told you to listen to it, but the Euro 2020/2021 song did come out. I don't know what I think of it. I think it's got a really, really good message. I know I texted you and I was like, it bangs. But like as I listened to it more, it's got a great message, but it just is so slow.
Yeah. And then, we're looking back at the old World Cup songs and all those, and it's just so
precise.
So upbeat and everything. It really fits the vibe. But check it out if you want. I don't know where we're going with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like it'll fit the build enough at the moment. But yeah, the champion. If you guys didn't know from what we were talking about before, the Champions League final did happen today, as well as the championship playoff final, which is only one game. Yeah, it's not a double leg like before. Yeah, so the championship playoff final between Brentford and Swansea, and then obviously the Champions League final between Manchester City and Chelsea. Brentford probably the favorites to win the playoff final, and Man City the favorites to win the Champions League final. And starting with the Champions League final, did we see another Pep Guardiola overthinking incident like we've seen over the past however many years with this Man City team?
I think so, because there was one big thing that showed that, and that was the starting 11. He decided to go with, it was a Foden, Bernardo Silva, and De Bruyne midfield, I think, right?
Yes.
And that is very attacking, and there's no defensive cover, really. Those players can come back, but they're not going to sit in front of that back four.
De Bruyne's the most defensive of the three, and De Bruyne's all-out like attacking midfielder.
And so that showed maybe he's overthinking a little bit with how he did lose to Tuchel twice this year already. He has not beaten him, and maybe he was overthinking, trying to maybe catch Tuchel out on his own tactics. Didn't work. They were very vulnerable from counterattacks, which is all Chelsea are really in their attack. And it showed, from the result.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I was listening to the post-match interview, or not interview, but what do they call it when it's like the CBS, they're not announcers, they're like, I don't know why I'm blanking.
Like hosts?
Yeah, like the hosts, the main people who do like CBS Champions League. They were talking about it afterwards, and they were saying the lack of Fernandinho or Rodri being in that midfield was just, I mean, it has to be talked about because, like you said, counterattacks Chelsea go hand in hand. It's like Liverpool 2-3 years ago. Maybe 2 is better suiting for that. But, counterattacks and Chelsea go hand in hand. So when you have that presence, and then it's the Champions League final where you're like everyone's going to be at least attempting to fire at all cylinders. Why? Like I trust Ruben Diaz, but I don't know if I trust him that much.
Yeah, Stones definitely looked, especially in the first half, looked like he was getting run around by Werner.
Even by Timo Werner,
who missed 2 brilliant chances once again, and I thought this is where it's going to actually like hurt Chelsea, because in the past I feel like it hasn't affected their score lines very much.
Nah, it's been like meaningless chances.
But in a Champions League final, you just cannot be missing those chances, especially in the first half. And against a team like Man City, and I was like, all right, this is where it's actually going to hurt them, and they're going to lose because of it. But then Kai Havertz with from a ball, just an amazing ball by Mason Mount, takes it around Ederson with a great touch, and then finishes in an open net, and they find themselves 1-0 up before halftime.
Yeah. I mean, and the rest of the game was quite defensive.
Yeah.
On Chelsea's standpoint, it was entirely just get it up, try to maybe make a counterattack happen like they have the whole season, but it was less of that and more just, sit back, get Rudiger involved in just making sure he gets everything out of there. I was surprised with the departure of Thiago Silva in the first half, that they were able to, it was the end of the first half, that they were able to still hold their own defensively, especially with Andreas Christensen coming on and not having stepped on a field and played first team football since he had an injury. I don't know how long that injury was or whatever, but still, stepping onto a Champions League final right after an injury is kind of a big bump, especially when they had Kurt Zouma on the bench. But they did well in the second half, holding their own defensively, and just, it was well deserved. And it also, surprisingly, for a 1-0 victory, was really tense at the end. It was super tense. The amount of times that I was just like on the edge of my seat, like, oh, Kyle Walker's got another throw in here. It's going to get tapped in. And I also felt like Sergio Aguero, it was like, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
Yeah, that's what we were saying.
Yeah, and it just never happened. And I felt so bad for the guy after the game, because he's obviously leaving Manchester City now, on his way to Barcelona. There has been an agreement reached, I believe. Fabrizio Romano did post about that yesterday or the day before. An official agreement was reached. So, yeah, he'll be on his way to Barca to start his new end of his career path.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it was a good game. I think overall better than the last two Champions Leagues.
Definitely. And I'd say it's all thanks to Tuchel, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, you said this, but I guess I'll say it. You said to me in the beginning of the season, with all the signings Chelsea made, we were like, oh, they could win the Champions League, they could win the league, everything. And then kind of mid-season, when those players weren't performing, we were like, oh, they're going to finish outside the top 4. And then end of the season, they're in the Champions League final, and they're in the top 4 spot in the Premier League, and it's all because Tuchel came in and just changed that team. So I think this is his trophy, really. It's like, it's the same squad that Lampard had, and Tuchel came in and just rejuvenated them.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's the biggest thing that I see when it's impressive for what a manager does, is when a pretty good manager, Frank was good with Derby, and he's not, anything where it's like, oh, he's a poor manager, in my opinion. And you take the place of a pretty good manager and you absolutely just transform the team. No signings, no changes. The only changes you can make is who's playing and what formation you're playing and what you do in training, which are 3 big things. But, it's like no actual, like, you have the same raw squad.
Yeah.
So that's huge when you can come into a team and you can be the guy that changes everything. And so, like you said, it's Tuchel. It's Tuchel's trophy. This Chelsea fans should be thanking Tuchel right now. I mean, maybe they could be complaining about Lampard before and saying, oh, we could have fulfilled this potential earlier, but like at the same time, they weren't bad. They just, Tuchel solidified them defensively, and they obviously have a lot of creativity in attack. Big ups to Kai Havertz for scoring his first ever Champions League goal in the Champions League final as the game winner. That's pretty impressive. And also, like you said when you texted me, very professional all game.
Yeah.
He just was really, really good.
Great, like, drawing fouls and everything, late in the game, dribbling out of pressure. And I've seen it before. I think it was maybe the Real Madrid game, I think, the second leg. He did the exact same thing. He was just, Sergio Ramos came back from an injury, so he wasn't 100%, but he just, dribbled around him and just took those fouls, released pressure from the defense, and I think he's so young, but that's things that
Yeah.
like veteran strikers do for the team. So
Yeah, I mean, he's a baller. He's going to be really good. I mean, he already is really good. You can't say he's going to be, but he's going to keep getting better. I just hope Timo Werner finds his form. That's like the only thing. It's like, I just hope this guy can start scoring in front of goal because everything else in his game is so good.
I mean, he scores, but he could score triple the amount of goals he scores.
He scores, but like do we remember the last goal in the Champions League? When it went off the crossbar and then came down and he headed it in from about 2 yards out. Like, that's what he's scoring. And at like, if you showed me a picture of where that ball was and where he was, and I had to predict where that ball was going to end up, I might have said outside the net. So like
over the bar.
So like I just hope he can find form of. It's weird because he's smart, you know, he gets himself into really good positions. So it's not a lack, like he has so many more like opportunities than other people, I think. Yeah, and if you put another striker in those positions, they might bag like 30 goals a year. But that's the difference between Timo Werner and those other strikers. They're not getting into those positions. Yeah. But then he can't score all of them. Yeah. You know, it's like for everyone else, the hard part is the easy part for Timo right now. It's so weird. But, you know, at least he's getting in the positions, and he definitely was not shying away from those chances and opportunities. I mean, he was not only getting in those positions, but calling for the ball. He had good body language. He wanted to take shots. I mean, he was even taking shots when the angle was like, 10 degrees towards the goal. So this guy really he was hungry for a goal, and he wanted it, which is good to see. And, you know, you never know. Was he named in the Euro Germany squad?
I believe so.
Let me check. Because if he is on that team, I would love to see, you know, even if a different team with, like, you know, teammates can give you confidence and stuff would change it.
I think him and Havertz maybe were included, but don't quote me on that.
Yeah, I gotta check. But I mean, I definitely think Havertz would. But it's hard to say. Let's see here. Okay, 26 man. Havertz is like on the front cover. So if he's not in the team, I would be shocked. Yeah, Timo made it. Okay. Timo and Havertz. Any other Chelsea boys? I mean, Rudiger maybe. Yeah, Rudiger made it in. So the three German lads at Chelsea, who honestly Rudiger is shining with Tuchel as well. Like,
Rudiger's did you
see the tackle on Phil Foden?
Foden, yeah.
Dude, Foden was like 2 yards away from the goal, and
he was in shooting motion. And then
this guy comes out of nowhere with his long legs and just like absolutely clatters him, like destroys him. Rudiger is a baller. I mean, yeah, I think that Chelsea team. I know we said at the beginning of the season that with Chelsea's new signings and with like all the money they've spent and like Frank being the coach and like all this stuff, we were like, Chelsea could win the league and they'll probably win the Champions League because they spent so much. We said that on the pod. I remember like listening back and I was like, wow. And then halfway through the season, I guarantee you no one would have predicted what happened. But I mean, obviously it's harder to win the league when you have a second half that's good, but not a first half.
Yeah.
But they did prove that, you know, they came back and did well. So they fulfilled some of our expectations. But the interesting thing that I noticed was those expectations that were fulfilled were not due to the big money signings that they got. I mean, obviously Kai Havertz was a big money signing, 93 million, and he did score the game-winning goal. But, you know, I think it's Tuchel, Rudiger, and Edouard Mendy that might be the three that you can say.
Mount.
Well, no, the signings. Rudiger isn't a signing, no. I suppose. But Rudiger, like, came... I feel like Mount has been good. Like, Mount was... It's hard because Mount had a lot of confidence under Frank. He was constantly... His ego was boosted by Frank, you know, every single time he turned around.
I see what you mean. So, like the new... For the second half of the season,
yeah, the breakout players or new signings or whatever, you know, that were like sick. Although Edouard Mendy was signed under Frank.
Yeah.
But still, like those guys I feel like really shined in that second half of the season and were crucial. Yeah, Mount obviously.
No, Mount's been good.
And Conte. Conte can't be overlooked for how well he's done for this team this year. I know he had that one tackle today where, you know, he was like running behind someone and he like maneuvered his legs around them and got the ball out. But yeah, Conte with both. I think he had both Man of the Match awards in the last Champions League in the semifinal, both legs. But yeah, he can't be understated for how well he's performed, especially in this Champions League run. But yeah, I mean, big ups to Chelsea.
Pulisic.
I think that's a good thing to mention. You know, what do you think? Like, do you think it's deserved to have him being our first American to win the Champions League?
Oh yeah, totally. No one else has been at his level. No one else has kind of. I mean, you could say Dempsey. He was at Tottenham, I believe.
Little bit, not for that long.
So,
He wasn't the 10, was he? Or like the 9? Like, did he get?
He was a striker.
Well, no. Did he get the jersey number though? I know that doesn't really matter.
I don't know, but Pulisic, you know, he was named, you know, the future of the U.S. soccer when he was 18 or whatever, and everything. And I think this is just perfect for him. He's contributed a lot to the team, and I think maybe unfairly he didn't start the Champions League final, but he did come on with like 60 minutes.
You think it was unfair?
Yeah.
Who do you think he would have gone in instead of?
I mean, I would say probably Havertz, which is funny, but like Havertz or Werner, because like Pulisic has been an impact every time he's come off the bench, which is maybe why Tuchel kept him on the bench, because he thought, oh, if I keep him on the bench, he'll be mad, and then he'll come on and just play really well.
He did have a great chance.
Yeah, he played the game perfectly when he came on. He defended, ran around, pressed, and everything. That's exactly what he had to do. But yeah, first American in the Champions League final and first to win it. And that's just where U.S. soccer is headed.
I mean, I was thinking about it though. Like, there's never been a time where you're automatically gonna have an American winning the Champions League in the final. And then I was like, it brought me to the, thought process of like how likely it is to have, an American even doing like well in like, it's not continental. It's not domestic, because that's inside your country. What do they call it?
International.
Yeah, international success. And like I was thinking about it a while ago. You have like Dempsey and, John Brooks was probably playing in the Bundesliga at that time. And
Howard.
Howard at Everton, but it's just not. There's no like. You're not gonna like. They're not gonna achieve Champions League like level like awards and like winning stuff. When you're at Everton. So it's just like I was thinking about all of the American players that are at big name clubs. Giorena Dortmund, Chris Richards Bayern. Did he he was on Bayern last year?
He was on loan at Hoffenheim this year.
That's true. Wait, no, but last year he was at Bayern.
Yeah.
So he won the Champions League.
I don't think he played in the Champions League.
But does it matter?
Yeah. You have to have played, I think.
I did notice that they did say the first ever American to dress in a final.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, Chris Richards was probably the first ever American to win a Champions League. Because you still count. You win it. You won it.
I think there is, like, a technicality that you have to play a game to get a medal or something.
It's like a game in the Champions League? This is going to be looked up.
Or I know that's for the Premier League. I know that's true. Because, like, there was only a couple players. There's still the players that, maybe were reserves and stuff that didn't get a medal. But yeah, what do you think? What does it say?
What's the requirement for getting a winner's medal? This is on Quora, so I don't know really how like accurate it's gonna be. The winning team is presented with 40 gold medals. I mean, that's got to be like the whole team. 40 is a lot. Yeah, he's definitely got one.
Yeah, maybe.
He's definitely got one. But yeah, I mean, the first one to dress in a Champions League final is pretty big. Yeah. And like even then, like that just proves my point further that I was talking about before. Chris Richards, Bayern, Giorena Dortmund, Dest and Conrad at Barca, McKennie at Juve, Pulisic at Chelsea, and Zach Steffen at Man City. You have a pretty good chance of getting someone winning the Champions League. Like, there's a fairly, like there's a high percentage chance that you're going to get someone winning the Champions League. And I don't think that was even close to remotely true 10, 15 years ago.
5 years ago.
Yeah,
to be
honestly,
honest.
yeah. I mean, because the last person that I can think of before like all of these guys would be, like you said, like Howard and Dempsey. And Tottenham's not coming close to winning a Champions League anytime soon, especially considering they're losing Harry Kane, and Everton wasn't high profile enough.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's crazy. It's nice to see how well the United States has developed. I don't know if it's going to be a trend. And
I'm just excited to see how they do in tournaments now. Because we've seen them play a little bit, but like actual competitive tournaments when there's stuff like on the line. But yeah, I think that's enough for the Champions League.
Yeah,
it was just a good game. I think.
Wonderful atmosphere. Porto's stadium's phenomenal.
Yeah,
such a good stadium. I would love to go there someday. But I mean, is Wembley better than Porto's stadium? Is Wembley is it, or is it just bigger?
No, it's better.
The architecture of that
I've
Porto
been to
stadium.
Wembley.
Have you actually?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Was it nice?
Yes.
So no, this is a serious debate. So like people say, oh, I went to Camp Nou or the new camp, right? And they're like, oh, it was insane. It's not insane. There's just 110,000 people. Like,
No, it's like really cool.
How? Like, what about it?
Like it's modern on the inside, like the shape.
I know it's like red and everything.
Yeah.
But like,
what do you mean is not cool?
Porto's stadium has that like you know what I'm talking. The stands go up on one side, and then there's like area to walk around, and then you can see buildings behind it, and then there's this like roof that comes out over it. That's
just Wembley.
No, it's not. No, Porto Stadium takes the cake. I'm telling you right.
For you. And then the championship playoff final, Brentford went 2-0 up within like 20 minutes, and it really wasn't a game.
At Wembley.
Yes, really wasn't a game. So we won't really talk about that much. But so where do you think, or how do you think Brentford, Watford, and Norwich, the 3 promoted teams, will do next year?
Well, surprisingly, I think that Brentford will do the best, even though they had to win the playoffs in order to get into the Premier League. You see, I don't want any of them to go back down, but that's really hard for Brighton. Because that means we're probably then going to go back
down. You're always right there. You can't afford 3 teams to be above you.
Like, it's hard. So I have reasons for all of them. Brentford's probably like my least favorite, but I think they're really good. Ivan Toney's ridiculous. Did you see that shot that went off the crossbar? Yeah. Dude's insane.
I like just the way they play was really
the bees
good when I watched the game. And then Watford. Well, I'm sure you're gonna say
the cycling GK is on Watford. So
I would be okay with sacrificing the cycling GK.
I need to see Premier League game day vlogs.
Yeah, they'll get one for a season and then go back down.
The problem is,
I'd love to see Norwich stay because
I would like to see Todd stay.
Todd, yes.
Todd Cantwell deserves a spot in the Premier League.
The swag 11 that we made.
Who's the coach? Did we say? Is it Tuchel?
No.
It's gotta be Tuchel.
It wasn't.
Tuchel's got swag.
No, he doesn't.
Did you see the passion today?
That's not swag.
It is.
That's passion.
Swag is passion.
Was it Scott Parker?
Yes.
Yeah, no.
Okay, so yeah, swag 11 in the Premier League with Scott Parker as the manager. Would they stay up?
We already had this talk. Yeah, they win the Champions League. Did you know the team that we said?
Oh yeah, Van Dijk was included, and
Van
Ramos.
Dijk, Ramos, Pogba.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, it's insane.
Well, but when I feel like
it's not even
what? They wouldn't concede a lot, but Todd and Conor Gallagher were on the team.
Grealish.
Well, Grealish is good though, but Todd and Conor Gallagher, they're good, but they're not like Champions League winner good.
This is hypothetical.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Would they get relegated? Probably not.
But I agree. I think two out of the 3 teams will have it hard, if not get relegated.
And you think Brentford's the one that's not going to have it hard?
I hope Norwich. I wouldn't be surprised if Brentford are like a Leeds kind of when they.
That's what I'm thinking.
They kind of sail.
So, do you think Ivan Toney's going to continue to be at Brentford?
Yes, for one season, even if they stay up again.
What if he flops?
Yeah, but you can't. It was the same with Sessegnon, for Fulham.
Yeah, and then
he wanted, or like he was
he's
gonna
not
move.
still at Fulham, right?
No, he was gonna move, and then he didn't once they went up with Fulham, and then he had like a decent season, but they went back down, and then he sold, and he kind of lost a year. I feel like.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hope Norwich, but I think maybe Brentford might be a little bit better. And then
we're thinking Watford are going back down.
Yeah, I don't.
But Ismail Assar is going to get bought by someone.
Yeah.
And the cycling GK.
Bought by Man City.
Well, didn't they have that goalie that what's his name again?
Like Scott Carson.
Yeah, Scott Carson, who was like 55 years old or something like that.
Yeah.
First ever Premier League game.
Yeah.
And finally got his chance. But I mean, that happened like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
3 weeks ago.
Then to kind of round it up, I guess.
Round things off.
There's a lot of manager transfers or manager news.
It's the weirdest thing. Every single time this year, it's like, where's Pogba gonna go?
Yeah.
And that's pretty much like everything.
All in like 1 or 2 days.
Yeah, all these managers. No, they must have had like a conference.
Yeah.
They must have been like, yo, let's all just stir things up and leave.
I'll list them off. So Allegri, who was Juventus manager last year, is now back at Juventus after they sacked Pirlo, who did not do a very good job.
R.I.P. to the legend behind myself right here. R.I.P. to his career at Juventus, which is sad because he's like, I feel like he's leaving the old lady in like if he just left,
he'll come back.
Well, you think he'll manage again?
Yeah.
With the season he's had,
they'd
be playing Europa League.
Once he gets, no, they actually made champions.
Did they clinch it?
I think so.
Let's see here. But even like it was such a poor season.
No, I know. He'll come back after managing another team and getting more experience.
He's so experienced anyway. Okay, they got fourth. Napoli really just bottled that.
Yeah, they choked.
Yeah, goodness me.
Zidane resigns from Real Madrid.
He said that. Well, no, it's because of the Super League stuff, right? He wasn't agreeing with Fiorentino Perez.
But after getting second place, after coming back this year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
no, that was his second stint at Real Madrid.
Antonio Conte for Inter was sacked.
No, he resigned as well.
I thought he was sacked.
No, okay, this is the weirdest story. He was resigned, and
there's an argument.
They didn't have the same. So he wanted to spend 120 million on players, and the board wanted to sell Lukaku.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Nah, I ain't doing that. I want to keep my players." But I don't know if I can find the post. I'm gonna have to. But he wasn't sacked. He resigned from every single team in the past after they won the league or the Champions League.
I was gonna say, so the same thing happened with Chelsea.
Yep.
They won the league and then he resigned.
Like, I don't understand.
And Inter, after Juventus had won 9 times in a row, Inter won the league and then Conte then resigned again. Maybe that's just like what he does. Like, he doesn't want to stay with a team to defend the title.
Yeah, he won it with Juve and then he left.
Yep.
And then he won it with Chelsea and then he left. And then he won it with Inter.
So
and then he left. He's just, I don't know what is. He always says he has a clash with the board, but I swear it's just that he wants to leave on a good note.
Yeah. And
it's just that he wants to be loved by everyone.
Yeah, that's not even the weirdest manager news. Pochettino is rumored to be going back to Tottenham after Tottenham have contacted him about maybe coming back. And
that's so weird.
Like, okay, they shouldn't have got rid of him anyway, I don't think.
Yeah, Mourinho didn't really.
Yeah, that was not a good move, but...
And then who's the guy managing him now? He's like 28 years old.
Ryan Mason, but he's just... That was just the interim.
Yeah.
No,
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer type stuff with that interim manager. He's going to get signed.
Yeah. I don't think so. But just crazy manager news. I'd love to have managers moving around as much as players do.
But, like, there starts to be, like, transfer fees for managers.
Or just, like, you just manage a team for a week and then you go to a different team.
Well, so here's the problem. Like, it's all, like, the board is what decides the managers, and the board's all, like, cost-effective and stuff. So, like, manager rumors don't happen very much. Because it's all just like about saving money and like I don't know. There's like there's like all this stuff that happens with like the board, and I don't know if it's just because of all the stuff that's been happening lately, but I think that might be in like response to a lot of the like stirring up of like the board and the owners.
Yeah,
And, like they're trying to change things and maybe like look more. Some clubs are trying to look more into what the fans want, and some clubs maybe are trying to fight back a little bit. I don't really know, but I was just thinking that might be correlated to it. But yeah, a 4-to-1 ratio on the well, actually, I think there was a lot more that happened. 4-to-1 on our sheet for the ratio of manager rumors to player rumors, because we have Konate officially to Liverpool, which is just like a 9th center back. But like when everyone's actually fit and then they stop getting injured, they're gonna have an absolute plethora.
Konate, Van Dijk,
Joe Gomez, Nat Phillips, Kabak.
Like they're all very decent.
They're all really good. And then they've got Rice
and
Williams.
It was a really cheap,
and Fabinho can play.
It's like a relatively cheap
it was 30 million
transfer because of his release clause, right?
Yeah, 30 million.
So for a young player who's really done well at Leipzig, just to come in really cheap for Liverpool, I think I'm surprised not more clubs maybe were more aggressive with that deal, but that's going to be a scary back line.
Okay, yeah, so Genie officially to Barca as well.
Well, yeah.
But that's like, it's kind of stuff
not
we
officially.
Already... Yeah, well, verbal agreement was reached. And when Fabrizio Romano posts about it, you kind of know what's happening. Like, that guy is, I don't know what is up with that, but that guy is like official on everything. Yeah, and then obviously Konate, Kane's obviously gone. He confirmed that. Thiago Silva will stay at Chelsea. And then, what's the Jadon Sancho?
Man United are still interested.
He was one step away last summer, and so they were gonna ask for 120, or they were asking for 120 million last summer, and they've lowered it below 100. That could, Jadon Sancho in the Premier League.
They don't really need.
Yeah, well, Man United are like that.
Yeah,
they'll be like, what do we need? A center back? Let's go buy a right winger.
Let's get a right winger who's
like
overpriced.
Let's see who is like really hyped up right now. But that's the like thing about Jadon Sancho. He's not really hyped right now.
He was last year.
It's a good time to buy.
He was
like, good.
He's like consistently getting double digits in goals and assists
which is very impressive.
Yeah.
Like it's looked over a lot, because when you only get like 11 goals in a season as a winger, they're like, "Oh, you're good, but you're not that good."
Yeah.
And then like you look at his assists and it's like 12, and you're like, well, he's actually contributing like almost every game, so
like 20 something goals.
And he's been injured for like a lot of the season, like with little injuries around like here and there. So I feel like it's a good buy. It's just like they don't really need him.
Dortmund are gonna get stripped of a lot of their good players.
Do you think Gio's gonna leave anytime soon?
Not this year, but I think if he keeps getting better, yeah.
Yeah.
Then to end it, we talked about it last podcast, I think, but I thought it was kind of mind blowing that
I was so mad
in the Spain squad, because Sergio Ramos was not included. It's the first time that they do not have a Real Madrid player in the squad in their history.
So I can understand like everyone except for Sergio Ramos. Like Nacho Monreal, is he still at Real Madrid? I think he is.
Nacho Fernandez.
Oh yeah,
Nacho's the Arsenal. That's like, why would he be in it?
Not Nacho Monreal.
Yeah. I feel like he hasn't played.
Yeah, he hasn't. Okay, so maybe he's injured. So here, Sergio Ramos is like Van Dijk. He's basically injured right now, but not like actually that injured to the point where he will never be able to like be back for the Euros. But I feel like he's just like pulling a Van Dijk and just ruling himself out. They like text each other and they're like, yeah, let's just like skip this one. We're waiting for next Euros.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, everyone else is like, it makes sense kind of. I think a lot of the Valencia, Villarreal,
Atletico.
Yeah, Atletico Madrid, Barca, and then you have guys, all throughout Bundesliga and Premier League. You've got like Alberto Moreno, right? Or that's his name. He plays for Lazio. He's good.
Alberto Moreno. That's the Villarreal.
No, it's not. Am I actually getting all of the names wrong today?
Yeah.
Nah, let's see.
I swear.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
No. Who's the Lazio player?
I know who you're talking about. The midfielder, right?
Yeah, he's like a center mid, but he's totally a striker.
It's Albert. It's Alberto something.
Lazio Spanish guy.
We're just waffling right now.
No, not Ciro Immobile. He's not Spanish. That does not. It's not really coming up right now. Let me check. FIFA will have him guaranteed. Oh well, I don't have. Oh, okay. Not on the new phone.
Whatever.
I need to re-download it. Oh, I can't remember his name. That's annoying. But the Spanish squad will still be strong. I drew them in the draw. We talked about that a bit last week, didn't we? Yeah. Who did you draw?
Russia, Switzerland, and England, I believe.
I got
Which is very strong.
That's very good. Mine's like okay. My second tier team's good. I got Hungary, who I don't really think are gonna do much. But then I got Denmark and Spain. You know, Spain's like they're good, but Denmark's a very strong.
That was
team.
one of the strongest.
Denmark, Italy, and
Switzerland's not bad.
No, Switzerland's not bad. You got Sheridan to carry. Sheridan went off last year.
Granit Xhaka.
Yeah, and he's rumored to leave as well to Roma.
Oh.
Yeah, I think 15 million. Suitable price.
All right.
Yeah, I think that rounds off this week's podcast. We'll be back. We won't be back next week. But maybe on the Zoom. But the week after that, we will be. Next week we have finals, and I'm traveling. So I just think the combination of that probably means that we won't be back next week. Just to make sure that everyone's finals
nothing's
goes
really
well.
The seasons are over too.
Yeah, exactly. So. I think it can be a good break, and you know, maybe we can start season 3 when we get back.
Oh,
just a thought. But
we'll
yeah,
let that sit with you.
Yeah, we'll let that sit with you. And until then, hope you guys have a great week, great entrance into summer, and we'll see you once summer's around.
Entrance.
Let's just end it there. Bye.